Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 336. Phil Graham here. Today, I'm going to be sharing 3 costly mistakes that Facebook advertisers are making right now. These mistakes are very costly, and there's a lot more than just the 3, but the 3 we're going to talk about today are super common. I've seen them more and more, especially lately, and they can really ruin your ads and cost you guys a lot of money. So I do not want to see you guys making these mistakes. So welcome to the show. I'm telling you, this is one of my most favorite parts of the week is when I record this podcast episode for you guys. And yeah, I do it every single week. I don't sit there and batch record because I want you to know that every week when you're listening to this, it's recent, relevant, up-to-date information. That's how it's always been, and that's how it will always be. So thank you guys so much for being here. And by the way, if you guys want to get in touch, if you're looking for someone you trust to actually run your ads for you, or if you really want to learn this stuff the right way, whether it's specific to Facebook ads or ads in general or marketing, and you're looking for coaching for either one of those things, you can go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. So jumping in, my friends, we are in fall of 2023. It's mid-October, and there are a lot of mistakes that advertisers are making for sure. But 3 of the most common ones that I see coming up more and more are very dangerous and very, very costly. The first mistake we're going to talk about today is relying solely on AI ad copy. Now, I want to say this first. I love AI. I'm such a fan of ChatGPT and AI in general and use it a ton. However, it's not my ad copy that I use because I can write much better ad copy. But that's not the reason why most people are making a mistake in using it. Most people who are relying on ad copy from AI for their ads are failing, and it's costing them a lot of money. And the reason for that is because there's a lot more to success with ads and with marketing and business in general. There's a lot more to success than just your ad copy. You could even have perfect ad copy, which you're not going to get from AI, but you could have perfect ad copy and still fail many, many ways because there's a lot more to it. You've got to have a great strategy. You've got to be great and highly skilled at evaluating the data in real time and then making adjustments and adapting to what the data is telling you. You've got to be able to effectively target different audiences and read and react and see what's going on, see what people are responding to and what they're not, knowing how long to let ads run and when you should cut them off and test something different. You've got to have good testing protocols on how to properly test ads. You've got to know about using different ad objectives and placements. There's retargeting. Then there's things like the proper offers. What are your hooks? How fast is your landing page? How are you going to follow up with people? How are you segmenting people? I could go on and on for an hour, but I won't. You guys get the message. Can you see how there's so much more to success than just your ad copy? So just using ad copy from AI and thinking that's going to make you successful, for most people will probably lead you to failure and waste a lot of money. I don't want that to happen to you. Now, another thing I want to say, and this is for either those people who are advanced or who want to become advanced, is that I've tested this over and over and over again. And the ad copy that I see that we come up with is almost always way better than just what AI spits out. And so when we're competing against somebody who might just be using AI, it gives us a huge advantage. Now, again, before I started this mistake that we're talking about, I did mention how much I love Chat GPT and AI, and we use it a lot. I even use it when it comes to ad copy. I use it for ideas, for concepts, for maybe a framework of how I might craft an ad. But then I combine what it gives me with what I know about the individual client and their strengths and weaknesses and their competition, and also combine that with my skill and all the data that I've evaluated over the years. And of course, we can come up with something better. And that gives us an advantage. And you can do that too. But again, even if you didn't do that, just realizing that ad success is a lot more than just ad copy, and then getting good at all those things I mentioned that makes up whether you have a better chance to succeed or not, that's going to help you a lot and hopefully avoid making those mistakes that will cost you money. The second mistake I want to talk about that I see many advertisers making is letting Facebook just automatically target your audience for you and not testing different audiences, whether it's a lookalike audience or Advantage Plus or anything else. If you're only just doing that and you're not taking it into your own hands and testing different audiences yourself, you are at a huge disadvantage, and there's a good chance that you're losing money because of it. Now, we test things all the time, and there's different audiences that work, and it's never the same. Sometimes one audience works better, and another time a different audience works better. Sometimes an Advantage Plus crushes it, and other times it is horrible. And one of our segmented audiences works 10 times better. You just never know until you test it. So don't make the mistake of just running one audience or just letting Facebook automatically target this huge amount of people for you, and you're not specifically targeting different types of people, different segments of audiences, and testing things. Yes, we use Advantage Plus, we use lookalikes, and I love those. But we also do a lot of audience testing. And there's a lot of times when what you create when it comes to an audience will work better than the auto targeting stuff. So don't make the mistake of just doing the auto targeting. Make sure you do targeting yourself as well. And then follow the data, follow the numbers based off of what's happening. Do more of what works and change what doesn't. Last but not least, costly mistake number 3 is relying on templates or easy push button systems, 2 clicks for an ad, or AI scams, or any other thing where you're like copying somebody else's ads or what a company does, things like that. You know, I guess every single one of these things could be its own mistake, but I'm going to kind of group them together just to save time. And I think you guys will kind of get the gist of it anyway. These things do not work, and they definitely don't work like people say they do. For example, like templates and push button systems and stuff like that, they're usually horrible. Now, sometimes you can get a good framework or something or concept from them, but if you're just plugging in a template thinking that's going to make you successful, for most of you, it's not. That's not how it works. I've got data to back that up. I've worked with a lot of different clients in many industries and areas. I've had situations multiple times, plenty of times, where I was working with clients in the same industry, but different states. And we'll take an ad that's crushing it in one state, and we'll use it for a client in a different state where they're not competing, but use that same ad because it's doing so well in this one state. We'll use it over here in another state, and it does horrible, even though it's word for word the exact same ad that was crushing it somewhere else. I mean, if that doesn't tell you templates don't work, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've got so much data that shows that that's not how you become successful when it comes to great ads. So you got to be very careful. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to use a template or something to give you an idea of where to start, and then you plug in specifics that are different in your individual situation. But most of the time, templates and systems and crap like that are marketed in a way that makes you think you can just copy and paste and have success. And that is not true. That is absolutely not how it works. And you will be wasting your time and wasting your money in most situations. You got to be careful. Another thing too is copying what other people do with their ads, or even other companies, even if they're successful. First of all, when you're copying an ad, you don't really know if it's successful. But even if it is, their situation might be completely different than you. If you and I went into business together tomorrow and we started a shoe company, we could run the exact same ads as Nike, word for word. We could do everything that Nike does. Are we going to get the same result? Of course not. They've got a brand. They've got brand recognition. They built it up over so many years. They could even make a lot of mistakes with their ads, and it doesn't matter. And we could be copying an ineffective ad in the first place. For Nike, it doesn't matter. People are still going to buy that stuff. But for you, if you're copying that as an advertiser, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. So you got to be careful when you're looking at what other companies or people in your industry are doing, because you might be copying an ad that doesn't work and it's costing them money and they don't realize it. Or even if it does work, it doesn't mean it'll work for you. So blindly just doing that is usually going to lead to advertisers losing money. So you got to be super careful with that, because so many people make that mistake, and I don't want that to be you. So those are the 3 mistakes I wanted to highlight today. There are a lot more of them, but these are pretty common. I hope you're not making them. If you are making them, make sure you guys pay attention to what I talked about in today's episode, because it is so important. I don't want you guys making costly mistakes. I want you to do the right things and give yourself the best chance for success. So my friends, episode 336 is in the books. Thank you so much for listening. I've got some great episodes coming up, so make sure you tune in next week, and I will talk to you on next week's podcast. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.